we are honored to be opportune to be one of those that be anchoring this. Please, I need to want the mics for them while you ask them the first question.
We'll get diving. This question goes to every one of you. Please, we have limited time. It goes to us. What has been the highlight of your week so far, please? Just want to know how it was being, as your week been so far. Anybody can just go on. I want to know from the left to the right side. How has your week been so far? I want to know the highlights of your week. Just.
Good morning, church. It's nice to be here once again. I'm on this podium. I'm always here, almost every Sunday. It's nice to be on the podium. My week is a routine, and I think week in, week out, it's been a routine, and it's been an encouragement too, even to me, because there is at times you may want to get bored when you perform the same routine day in, day out. So my life has been wake up in the morning, dress up for work, go to work, come back, also get busy at work. From the moment I get to work, busy from morning until 5 p.m., then leave the work, go to the other areas to affect life, return home late, and then on Sunday, I try to come early to the church. I get to leave the church. So that has been the routine. But again, the routine of my work demands that I do the same thing almost every time. And it makes you tend to have what we sort of call monotonous life. Doing the same thing, same time. But as a person, I then found a way to, why do the same thing, create variety in that singular thing I do all the time. And that has been a major lifting factor. Thank you.
Before I say, first of all, I appreciate Pastor for this opportunity. Okay, so I usually say most of the time, especially for somebody that has different businesses running across. Most of the time, my weekly routine, especially this past one, is following up on my businesses, ensuring that they are doing well and nothing is falling apart. And then catering for the families, especially this week. I've been with family on a vacation and also following up the business. That's basically what I've been doing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me here. So the highlight of my week was actually getting to know that my 5-year autistic son, finished year 6. And it's challenging for others that are special needs, that have special needs children. And I would say it's not been without a fight because education in Nigeria does not support inclusive education. We get to fight for it. So it's been exciting for me to see that my son, we're going to year 7. And
praise the Lord. I think basically my week, my person anyway, I'm somebody that I work hard and I play very hard. So when I'm at work. And when I'm playing, I am playing. So it was a very loaded week. I mean, for somebody that combined like 5-6 different businesses together with locations in not less than 8, 10, 11, 12 across the nation. From consulting to brand transport to sales, logistics, and so on. So as it was 24 hours to be for me, I create time that every evening. I'm a squash player, so I make sure I play my squash every evening and I sleep hard, I rest. So that was how my week went. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. But I had a beautiful week. Project managing in some quarters. There are a few projects going on in about 2 states, one at Akure and Lagos. It's been generally beautiful. I attended to some ministerial responsibilities as well. And I had fun, like Dr. said. So it's been a lovely week. Thank you.
Hallelujah. If you notice, almost every one of them, they have a plan week already. The way they run everything that they are doing. You understand? And it shows that they are where they are today because of some consistency that they have. And you have taken that one, have noted that one down. Hallelujah. So, next question is for the mommy and ministers, which is looking back at your journey from when you had little to where you just started out to where you are today. What were the key decisions, habits, failures, and opportunities that shaped your path to building wealth?
Okay, one of the things I've always said to myself is wherever I am, whatever I do, whatever amount I earn, I must be able to save something. Now, again, from being a couple, it's quite difficult, I will not lie to you. It's actually quite difficult. But again, if you look back and you ask yourself, should, like my mom will say in Yoruba, people that have 50,000 or 500, but they share only from the same. So, when you have parents that will constantly remind you that whatever you have, whatever we are giving you, always keep something out. So I started earning stipends from secondary school. So my mom would say, oh, okay, I'm giving you your weekly money. How much is coming back? Are you spending everything in school? So please, it's difficult. Even now, there's so many things we need to do with money. It's difficult. But one thing I tell myself is I will always keep something away, no matter how small. And now, thank God for this Kolo thing that we're all doing. I always, every week, everybody around me knows, as I have everybody in my Kolo today, even if I cannot save in the bank, I will go to my Kolo and drop something. Two, I've always told myself, yes, I will do my daily work. To jobs that allow you to do other things, please pick up other interests. Sometimes it's from these other interests that you are also able to save more. I do gifting. Every December, there are organizations, even my organization, reaches out to me to say, oh, we have Christmas gifts. We want to give. People know that if they want to do birthdays, they want to propose, they just want to do anything, they can reach out to me to get anything done. So please, I always encourage people, whatever hobby you have that makes you happy, that that you love to do outside work. I love my legal work, but I also like gifting. And I've told myself, I started it for free. One thing I used to do when I was young, in Kaduna, there was nobody that used to help us wrap engagement baskets. My mom used to do it for free. I learned it. Gradually, she passed it on to me till I left Kaduna. I was helping people. She said, I will tell them now, collect money. So please, whatever those things are, and it was so funny because I just like to follow her. When they want to pack the engagement basket for people to that, go and meet her mom. My mom knows how to do it. And I will sit down with her. I learned it. Then gradually I picked it up and it's become what I used to make money today. And two guys, it is difficult, but one thing I always say is your hard work. Work so hard that your hard work and everybody around you feels the impact. Because when there is a need for you, for your skill, everybody comes to you. Thank you.
A journey from where you are little or where you just started out to where you are today. What were the key decisions, habits, failures, and opportunities that shape your path to building wealth? Yes.
I Right? What? 3 questions in one. Key decisions, right?
Yes.
Okay, number 1. I would say that before there is a saying that has modeled my life, and I happened to grab it quite early in life, and that is the fact that I must at every point in time be ready to do what I have to do so that I can do what I love to do. Let me say it again. I've learned to always be ready to do what I have to do so that I can do what I love to do. There are some times that there's a distance between what you really want to do, what you love to do. Maybe you want to. Let me use myself as an example. Personally, when it comes to passion, we are that people do whatever they are passionate about, do all those stuff. I'm passionate about media. I love to handle multimedia operations. I love to run cameras. I love to do all those things. But I practice as an engineer. I'm still practicing as an engineer. I've been practicing in the engineering field since 2009. But that is not really where my passion is. In fact, I had an engineering company, but that is not where my passion is. I did that for so many years. About 3 years ago, I started a media company, which is also thriving. So I've learned to do what I have to do, and that has been, every stage of life I get to, even that this is what I would love to do, but for now, I cannot do that. What do I have to do for now, so that I can eventually do what I love to do? I don't take my eyes away from my vision. But if this is the pathway I follow through, so talking about key decisions that has affected anything in my life is that if this is what I have to do, I do it with all my heart. Then there's a scriptures. The Bible says that we should be diligent in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. That has also been my watchword since I was in school. Diligent in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So when I'm doing anything, in fact, people know if you commit something into my hand, we die there. It is either it is successful or it is successful. Except God decide that it will not be successful. But from human standpoint, I will push in all energy. When it comes to diligence, I want to do my best. I used to tell people, all I can do is all I can do. But all I can do is enough if I truly do what's all I can do. So I cannot kill myself, but I will make sure that I'm not saying that from a mediocre standpoint. I push in all my energy. If I've done everything I could and it's not working out fine, I move on. I know that I have done everything I can do. And if it didn't work out, then I move on. I've learned a lesson or two. And if it works out, fine. To put that in context, I've tried more than 7 businesses. It is 3 of them that I've tried now, but I've tried more than 7. So when I push my best, I push it so much because the one is not working, I move on. Alright, so that are the key decisions. Then habits, I don't give up. Resilience. I don't give up. I don't give up early. That's not why I don't give up. I don't give up early. And I know when to give up. Actually, giving up is an act that should be learned. I believe that everyone should know how to give up at one time or the other. But some people, because they don't learn to give up, they keep doing what we want them. I don't want to give up, and they die again. But we must learn how to, okay, this is the point I give up, and even giving up, I must give up appropriately. So, I don't give up so early, but if I need to give up, I give up, I give it up, I give up appropriately. So that has been another habit that has helped me. Then I love people. Love is a driving force for me. People I work with, people I pastor, I love them genuinely. My staffs, I love them genuinely. So there's a genuine love that guides all my action. And I love my family. So I love my family, I love God, I love people, and it has been a very great habit that has helped me. Let me just stop there.
Thank you very much. So before we drive further, from Doctor, I want to give every one of us one minute. Before we are saying this your current version, can you just run us through the former version and this current version? What was the transition? We want to know your journey from the beginning. Thank you.
That is a setup.
It's intentional, sir.
Because here they have asked me to lay And I thought the past is past, and we should move forward to the future. But it's always good too for us to remember our stories. It will help us to plan our future. We should know where we are coming from. And I started from a humble background. Yes, my mother was an influential woman within the context of the village where I was born, where I grew up, where I had my early life. And but my own father was a distant farmer and a hunter. Now, when I was growing up, I was with my mother. I grew up mostly with my mother, but they were separated. And I was not serious because she was comfortable. She was rich within the context of a career couple. In fact, she's died over 20 years ago. But when you still mention her name in the town, it will echoes. But then, growing up under her roof, I wasn't a very serious person. The only time I come home is when I'm tired playing football. And we return home, and I knew nothing about academics. I mean, primary school, primary 1 to primary 5, and even to GSS 1. There was nothing called academics in my. I didn't even know what was called teacher line. Again, along the line, the only thing that we look forward to as students in primary school was holiday and closing time. When we close, we just go and play football. Whatever we are taught, in fact, exam was not a problem to us because we didn't see it as a problem. We didn't see it as anything to conquer. So what we do is that when we get to exam, they ask us questions. Because we didn't used to go home and read or prepare for exam. There was nothing like that. So whatever they taught us in the school, when the exam come, they will ask us questions. I don't know whether it's what they taught us, they ask us. I still can't say it now. But I just know that whatever residual knowledge you pick in the class is what you will write. So, and along the line, the only thing that interests us, you got first position or second position. We didn't know that we could improve by reading to get to the next best position. So now make matter worse. We have people who are older than us. Then they are our mentor. And what were they mentoring us? They say that even those people who are graduates and you didn't get a job, you don't have to kill yourself. And that remained with me for a very long time. Until I had to change location. I was meant to come and stay with my uncle, who is a medical doctor. And of course, as you will expect, when I got to Ota, Ogun State, where my uncle was practicing as a medical doctor, the intention was to take me to the best public school then. And of course, the result I brought from my hometown, they took me to a Lomode grammar school. Even though my uncle was influential in the town, he looked at the results. He said, these results, we can't take this kind of student here. Because what happened? The result was 90% food or bread ink. He said, we can't take this kind of, these are not the kind of students we want in this school. So the next thing, because the primary school I went to, sorry that I have to take you back, the primary school I went to is one of the most humble background you can go to. The most humble primary school is Community Primary School. And that is the name of my primary school. It's Community Primary School in Dera. So then why am I saying this? Is that you can start from the most humble beginning and see accomplish, because you can see become an accomplished leader, accomplished entrepreneur in later life. So when I came to Ota, when the man rejected my result, they took me to another school, almost about 20 kilometers away from where we live, like trek to that time. Of course, the thought was now the thing that was now preparing me. I love my mom, I love that she was accomplished, but the thing that then preoccupied my mind to be successful was that I'm the son of a hunter. I bear the positive aspects that could make me feel my mother is rich. Then I choose the other aspects that I know that you have to fight for yourself. Luckily, the poorer of my parents was a man. So it was also easier, but also based in Bankole. It's also easier for me to know that Bankole is a hunter, is a peasant farmer, and you need to move ahead and surpass him, and even surpass him. So that has been my initial story. I got to Ota in 1991. In order not to bore with the full details, in 1991, about 5 years down the line, I was already in one of the best universities, studying one of the best courses that anybody. And I went through the Obafemi Awolowo University, graduated in record time, without any form of failure, and without, in fact, in my part 1, I had the best result in physics, in the entire part 1 level. When I grew, that's why I have a boy called Abbas. The only thing we go to look at in the board when they release stuff is to look at how many people have A, how many people join us to have A on the board. And that was just 5 years to 6 years from when my result was rejected from a secondary school. And here I am on the podium of one of the best universities in Africa, leading on the chart sheet of part 1 student. Of course, graduated as a medical student in record time, and then went ahead to do my residency training and finished on record time. So those are, and of course, what I then realized that because of the need and knowing my background where I was coming from, there's a need for me to achieve more than whatever limitation the life has presented to me. I had to start business. I can't beg people. In fact, I can't beg police. So I started trying as much as possible to stay within the confines of the law. And because I can't also beg people for money, I know that I need to work hard. And that has been my story. Thank you very much.
Praise the Lord. The journey. The journey is long. Before I consider, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask the church a question. Who wants to be financially free? You want to be financially free, that is your business. But I believe, because I believe the purpose of this gathering is for us to share our story, so that one or two people can be encouraged, can shape their life, and then probably anybody that is in the wrong direction can be redirected back to the right path. I think the journey for me was pretty very short. How do I mean? It was because when I was a bit younger, I had one little prayer point. And what was the prayer point? God, I want your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And I believe anybody that has God wisdom, God knowledge, God understanding is already financially breakthrough. Because there's no way you have God knowledge, you have God wisdom, you have God understanding, and you're lagging behind. So for me, the journey was from the beginning, direct your steps. So fast forward to when I was in school. This has always been my prayer. Fast forward to when I was working. Now, how do I encourage people? When I was working, there was a purpose that I defined, meaning that if you want to financially break through, you should have a purpose. You should know the beginning, you should know the end. You should be able to define the end from the beginning, meaning that you should be able to tell yourself that in the next 20 years, I should be retiring. In the next 20 years, I should have achieved A, B, C. Meaning that from the start, that your purpose will be your watchword, will be your guide. This has been a journey for me. Because from the beginning, I set a purpose for myself that when I'm this, I want to be this. And from now, I have to do everything that will make me achieve that. What am I trying to say is, I'm trying to encourage everyone. If you want to be financially breakthrough, no matter story that you listen to here today, it may not change anything. But if you define yourself and you set a purpose for yourself, and you walk through it, praying to God for breakthrough. And what is financial breakthrough? Is God giving you His wisdom, God giving you His understanding, God opening your minds up, letting you see opportunities, letting you see through those opportunities. I believe you can achieve purpose. Thank you.
So my story is quite different. I wasn't from my life to anybody that I started from. It was never wrong. I grew up, my dad is a governor, he was a Muslim, he had worked all the long. But there was one thing that I told myself. As a northern girl, living with a northern mother, my mom was Yoruba, but there was one thing a northern man would do to his daughter. They would ensure that you live the life. Did I like that life? No. The first time I ever left my house was when I was going to law school. My dad was so sure that I was going to go to. My dad was so sure I was going to law school Abuja, where he could drive in at any time to see his child. But one thing I planned was that shortly before the thing came out, I switched it to Lagos. And by the time the posting came out, the man was shocked. Another man would rather have you drive his child from his house to school. I will not say I had it wrong, but there was something I always told myself. I need to live outside my father's shadow. And guys, if you tell yourself you want to live outside your parents' shadow, it comes with a lot of resistance. Look, my father resisted me so much that I could have come back home. But I told him, see this law school, I will go. Even though we will sit down at home for 1 more year, let's move it back to Abuja. I told him no. In Lagos Law School was the worst campus to be on. Poor hygiene, poor lighting. There was a day he came to Lagos Law School. He said, what is this? He checked me out of Lagos Law School and put me in a nearby apartment. But guess what? I was working from that apartment on San Francisco to Akinola Road, under the rain. For the first time in my life, I was swimming in water when I came to Lagos Law School. I was scared, but I made it. I passed. When it was time to serve, things went bad. They took me to Enugu. When we got to the person's office, the DG's office in Enugu, the woman said, take her to Abuja. I told the man, take me back to Ogun State. It was an argument. He said, okay, take her to Ogun State. She'll meet her mother's people. When I processed my admission for master's, he didn't know. I just flew to Abuja one day and I said, Daddy, we are going to do for master's. And he said, but I thought, I said, no. I told myself, I will determine my path. Israel Yusuf had made his name. He will run his race, I will run mine. So since my law school, I told myself, I will take my decisions, I will live by them. Out of my siblings, I'm the only one that left home and decided to do things my way. But it pays out that it's good for me. I don't want to live in this man's shadow. And even when he died almost 2 years ago, I was happy because guess what? I can stand on my own with or without him. Sometimes we the things are handed to us, we take it for granted, but I told myself, I want to live outside his shadow. I don't want to live under this man's shadow. I told myself I will work for private organizations. Then we get, let's go to the master, no. I will work for organizations, go to interviews myself. The only job that I had to do that was under him was PKF, when he was the managing partner. And when it was time for me to leave PKF, I went to meet the partner in Lagos. See, when your guy calls you, tell him you have accepted my resignation. Don't argue. Man said, I said, start. Tell him you have accepted my resignation. And that was how I broke up. It's not easy. It seems like rebellion. But at the end of the day, when we now got to get talking, he said, I like the fact that you broke out, but sometimes it pains me And one of the things that went this way, I said I accept all those mistakes, I learned from them, and I will continue to forge ahead. Thank you.
I believe that we are listening and we are jotting down some things from their story. Please, I want us to be attentive and not just listening or pick out something from their story. And not just telling us their story for telling sake, but for us to learn from them. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I think what stand out for me, aside from the career end, I think I would like to talk about the academics. My stories is very, very similar to that of Doctor. I think he was just talking about myself as I was saying his story. You know, it's just like the area of departure is that just like, unlike every other child, my learning was very slow. I was eager, I wanted to know. But I don't know, maybe my brain could just carry that in my elementary school. You know, you can tell how it is when a boy of 11 years, I think primary 5, I could not conveniently recite ABC to Z. You know, and even writing my name in any of the exams, just as he said, you know, I remember my first name is Emmanuel. I could see the first E and the last L, but not in between M, whatever. I would just do L. That's a fact. So I couldn't even spell my name, you know, but I was eager. I don't know any of some of us here, if you still remember those days of Super Story Inks. There was no comics, no cartoon. So I love those magazines. I will save my money, buy it, and give to another person to be reading for me to hear. It was that bad. I wish when they come people to read Macmillan then, I wonder people that will come out to read as that, oh, do you have another head? Why are you reading this thing? Did you cram it? You know, and all of that. But there was this poem we used to recite there. Maybe some of us can still remember. That book is Alawiye. Then there was Ishelu Ogunse and so on. Then there was an image of a man that was not serious with education, pushing a truck. And another one standing beside a beetle car. Then I look at that poem and we'll be reciting it ever. So at some time when I was in primary 5 or 11, I look at the image and I ask myself, Kola, do you want to be a truck pusher or you want to own a car? I said to myself, I want to own a car, not even one, I want to own several ones. So, nobody to really mentor me. I had to search within myself and I decided to first learn how to recite ABC in Yoruba because it sits well with me. If I see app or like ABC, when I remember A in Yoruba, it tells me it's A. That was how I started spelling, started reading. You know, it's so funny that I did not even know how I passed from primary 1 to that 5. I did not know. You know, so eventually I started reading. I passed my primary 6, got to GS1, which another major shift. I felt, yeah, I could read, but I wasn't still doing well. In class, maybe out of 30, I come out 27 or 28. You know, and I can still remember that teacher's name. You know, her name is Miss Padaka. You know, there will be children from different schools, so like 3 schools in combined. I was sitting with another student that is the best in their own school. So we sit beside each other. Then the woman gave us a test. I think social studies then. The young fellow got 19.5 over 20. I think I got 3. The closest person to that guy got maybe 5. Then several zeros and 1. But the woman left everybody and faced me. She said, in my 15 years or 20 years of teaching experience, you are the worst student I've ever seen. I was like, why? She said, I got 3. Somebody got 0 now. She said, even if you do not know, you don't even know, you are so dumb that you can't even giraffe. Somebody, I refuse to give you that apple. I refuse because I don't want you to get 2020. So, and that was a shift for me. So I felt like, okay, what is this guy doing differently? So anytime we were playing, the guy would say somewhere I've been reading. Immediately I'll suspend the play and start reading. After closing, I observed that this guy will not go home. He will stay back. I will go in another class looking at him until he packed his bag. That's when I will go. And it went on and on throughout when I moved to the next class, then the miracle happened. I came first because it was in another class. And when I took the card home, my mother looked at me. I got to her. She said, Father, my boy is school. I will go to school with you. You have been coming up with fourth, third, fifth. I know you are cancelling the 2 in front of the 5 and 4. This time you have done the worst. Maybe it's 31, you raised the 3 in front of that one. And basically she came to school and she met my class teacher. Even before she started talking, the teacher said, oh, he's your son. He's the most brilliant child in my class. I started reading my profile. Then they asked my mother, I said, Ma, what did you come for? He said, no, I'm actually going somewhere. I just have to branch. You know, so when we got to the gates, I saw her up to the gates. She helped me. She really, I could see how proud she was. And she told me, as I'm going now, I'm going to the market, I'll buy a chicken. You eat the chicken lamb. You know, so that experience actually taught me that with hard work, and when you put your mind to something, you know, you can get anywhere. Then I realized I started having friends. People, you know, when you see people successful around, people want to relate to you. You know, so it was a major shift in my life, and I apply it to everything that anything I do, I want to be the best because I know people want to associate with me. Thank you.
All right, the milestones in my life has been wrapped around relationship. For me, at different stages of my life, what transitioned me from one place to another have been people. And that is why till date, but I'm slow at making friends. I wish I could make friends faster, but I'm very slow. But the few ones I have, I manage them properly. While I was going to before I got my job, when I was going to do IT, I had to stay with a friend in Lagos, and my friend was looking for his own IT placement, but he saw a place for me. He was looking for his own, but he saw one for me. He said, I saw where they wrote compressors, can you do? And he has gone and made an inquiry, got a contact. That was how I did my IT through a friend. Now, after I did my IT, I went for service. I was serving because I put in my best as well. When they called me and said, Dara, if you like to work with us, you can come back home. So I just begged them, I said, give me 1 week. So after my NYC, I just used 1 week to relax, and the following week, I resumed. So I have never done a job interview before in my life. Not once. Because the one I would have done, because I did IT with them, they just said, we want you to come back. And also based on relationship. Now, when I was going to quit my job, after I worked for a while, I had a rapid growth. You know, it's all this one-man business. So within a short year, I've become a manager. So after manager, sure you want to become the chairman. So I knew that I've spent my time, I need to exit. And when I was going to exit, the first contract I got was from someone I met on a site. I was managing a World Bank project for my course then. Then we were doing lot 3, they were doing another lot. Then we just strolled around my work area and we exchanged contacts, we discussed, blah, blah, blah. When I left my boss, they needed to do something similar to what I did for my boss. He remembered my number, he called me. That was how and it made me to start well. That was the first time I will cross over to making tens of millions of naira for the first time when I started my own business. And that was also through relationship. When I was going to get my first government contract directly, and majorly been doing subcontracts. When I was going to go and get the first government contract directly, it was also through relationship. In fact, I got it such that normally there is a due process that many contractors will submit to go through, all those stuff. In my own case, because that person was a consultant, he met me on the job. And don't forget, I said, diligence in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. I don't joke with opportunities. I don't have many of them. But the few ones I have, I know I would rather die there than that is not successful. So we were on a project, there were some issues, I put in all effort. The consultant that was supposed to be angry with me, he took notice of how I managed the situation. And in big interest, he was the one that told the governor that this person is the only one that can do this job. And that was why I got the first direct government contract without any major process. The government just signed off on it. Also through relationship. It also go back to ministry, everything had been relationship. So I don't want bridges. In fact, if you offend me and we have to cancel that relationship, I want to try as much as possible to see that we close it appropriately. I might be the one that will withdraw gradually, but will not have bad energy among us. We may just, it should just be as if distance separated us, but you will not remember something bad between us. So I value relationship so much because that is what God has used in my life. From one place to the other, I don't joke, and I want to encourage you, don't joke with relationship. You can have plenty CVs. Like the job I said I got from the government, there are people that have been running business for so many years, they have rich bank accounts, all those stuff, and they didn't have it. But then my son just said, Governor, this is the person that was with. And that thing changed my life. I started having meetings with governors, commissioners, and so many other things, all on relationship. So one highlight for me in my journey is relationship. I value so much. If you are my friend, you might not be my friend all the time, but if we happen to become friends, you can trust that if anything will go wrong, it will not be from my side. And even if it will go wrong, I will manage it so that I put a comma. Maybe one day I might need you again. You will not have any bad energy. We'll be able to reconcile easily. So that is the aspect for me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. In your story, you could detect that determination, resilience, and relationship has kept you going. So thank you for opening our eyes through your story to this insight. So, Dr. Bankole, sir, in your opinion, what is the biggest difference between being rich, financially independent, and truly wealthy? Do you want to come against that? In your opinion, what is the biggest difference between being rich, financially independent, and truly wealthy?
Thank you very much. Good morning, Church. I hope you are still in the morning. Good morning. I want to be judged as being conscious in time, place, and person. Well, being rich, you have cash, you have money. Your bank account is a fact. That is what we mean by being rich. But being wealthy is far more than that. Most people that are rich are just rich because they are still economically productive. Most rich people, and we have countless examples, they have a little problem. Within 2 months, within 1 year, they are down to zero. If you look at most of our politicians, I've seen people who have been House of Rep member, and the moment that political dispensation stops, the money is no longer coming in. Within 1 year, they start begging to leave. I've seen local government chairmen who are mass sweat, but within just one political sitting, they are back to nothing. So the person was rich, but he wasn't wealthy. When you are wealthy, it means that when you stop working, your resources will still continue to work for you. God forbid if you have a health challenge or health challenges, the resources you have will still continue to work for you. And you can also be wealthy. You can also look at it from a different perspective. You may be rich or wealthy of idea. You may be rich or wealthy of support. People who support your support base. Those people you have raised where things were going on well for you. Then when you have a little challenge and those people can come through for you, then that's a measure of your true wealth. And then the third component was what? Financial freedom. Yes, to be financially independent. That has to do with what you have put into practice over years of labor. And in my own story, I can look at it now. Years ago, I'm still economically productive. I'm still striving to even break new ground and achieve higher places and get more financial opportunity and support. But I can say that I can confidently, at my age, sit down and do nothing. And the resources are already committed. The structure I've built will be more than enough to support me. So that is achieving financial independence. So you won't achieve it in one day. It's a gradual process. You have a humble beginning. You start a business that didn't go well. You start all over again and start another way. Choose a different format and start the business until you get it right. And then you build the business to a point that the business can run successfully without you. I have friends who have hospital, even in this age, in Ejigbo here, that have not been in Nigeria in the last 1 year. What did they do? Initially, because in my own sector, generally, those who know about business, I would say I don't know much about business. I don't even have any specific model. I'm a good man when it comes to doing business. I just follow my instinct, what I think is the best for me, I do it. But those who read, I don't read about how to do business. I believe that business comes from natural gifts. When you have that natural gift and passion to run a business, you will run it. I have many doctors that don't have business. I just look at them. You are a medical doctor, you don't have a hospital. Then what are you doing? Then you then depend on salary. The salary that will not last you more than 1 week. So, but I have people who have, when you start a hospital business, the first thing is that you must build around yourself, which many business people will not agree with me. But for somebody to trust you and say, okay, I've come to you, I have this thing in my neck. You now tell the person, I'm going to cut your neck so that you'll be alive. It will take trust. It will take that the person, you must have beat, you have to tell the person you are the one that will do it. You say, so don't worry, you are here, you have a problem in your neck. I will call somebody to come and cut your neck so that you'll be alive. No patient will wait for you. So the first thing is you have to build that business around yourself when it comes to hospital. Then gradually, as the business has succeeded, the hospital has succeeded, that's blossomed, then you must then gradually find a way of withdrawing from the business. You already have the business is already successful. So that's why I have a friend here in Ejigbo who has his hospital doing very well, and then he has been away from Nigeria for the last 6 months, and the hospital still continue to blossom. So that is achieving financial freedom. Even when you are not there doing the hard work, doing the main work, the resources is still coming.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So this next question is for Madam Nafisat and Engineer Ogunrede. You understand? Madam Nafisat, Abana. I'm greeting you now, someone. Abana. Okay, so this one is for Madam Nafisat first, and Engineer Ogunrede, you answer. Okay, so the question was, what was the first major step or decision that changed your financial trajectory?
Okay, so the first major decision I made, and this was 5 years ago, was to stop collecting funds from my dad. I had to tell myself, he has spent a lot on education, he has spent a lot schooling me, he has supported. So, because this thing in your head that tells you that there's just always one extra somewhere when I finish using what I have, I told myself I would stop funding. It was hard because you just know that if you tell yourself, I don't want to collect this mass money, and then the man will now call you, how far now? Where you are now? Should I send you on the road? You say, are we fighting? All those things, it was hard. I'm serious. It shook a lot. But I have to now tell myself, I will replace that source of funds with something I can do for myself. So I now got into gifting very seriously. You know when you now want to resurrecting those things that you used to do before. It's not easy to read. You actually saw your father know. Because that one is sweet to have. It was always a go back to. Even you didn't need to ask, it will come. You didn't need to ask, it will always come. You will just sit down and the alert will come. So I had to tell them that, guys, stop crediting me, except I tell you guys to credit me.
Thank you very much.
Praise the Lord. Actually, I wanted to mention one or two things as regards the question of this doctor. In terms of the difference between being rich, being financially free, and then being wealthy. I want to visually mention about richness. I think everybody is rich because there's already God's provision for us. We have the air free. We have the sun. We have everything around us. I believe everybody is rich. I don't believe it is when you have cash in your pocket I say you're rich. Do you understand? So we are already rich. If you look at the Garden of Eden, Adam was already rich. The provisions have been there. Everything that was in the Garden of Eden was not made by Adam. It was put there by God. That was the provision of God for Adam, right? Am I correct? Meaning that if you look around you, we are already rich. The resources are already there. It is just for us to tap into those resources and use them to our advantage. Use them to build your financial freedom. Use them to become wealthy. The natural resources that they are taken from this country today, they have been there, they are provisions from God. Nobody put those resources, those crude oil, it was not deposited by our forefathers, right? Am I correct? They were resources from God. We are already rich. Nigeria, when they say Nigeria is a rich country, it's not because somebody made us rich. It was because these provisions have been there. So when you say rich, everybody is rich, technically, because the provisions are already there. Now, use these provisions, these riches that God has placed for us, right? Use them to your purpose. The reason there is a purpose for Garden of Eden, right? I don't know if anyone knows. The purpose for Garden of Eden was for Adam to cultivate it. Am I correct, Pastor? The purpose of Garden of Eden was for Adam to cultivate it to his own use. But it was when the curse happened and things became harder. You need to sweat. Now, use these riches to your opportunity and claim financial freedom. What is financial freedom? Financial freedom, in my opinion, is you creating something that can give you inflow, something that can give you financial resources beyond your exposure. Once you can create something that gives you a return beyond your exposure, you are financially free. You can earn 10 million naira in a month and your exposure is 1 million naira. You can see you're financially free. You are financially independent. You have a business that is giving you flow without you being there. You have 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 businesses. They are giving you inflow and you are not there. You are financially free. Then, to be wealthy is the one that cut across these two that I mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then second one, what was the key decision that changed your financial trajectory? Key decision you made?
The decision that changed my financial trajectory is investment. I remember the story of my first 650,000 naira I made through a small deal. Back then, when I was in school, I was an HM, and I made that money because I was already working. I was working and I was schooling. So I made that money, and then the thought that came to me was to go and buy a tiny light Camry. And at some point, I said to myself, this tiny light I'm not going to buy. All these people are here, they will and drive this tiny light, no concern them. Whether it is your money, whether it's not your money, they will and spoil the car. On the other hand, I also said to myself that if I buy this car, they will think I've arrived. Meanwhile, we have not even started. So the decision that changed everything for me was to say, no, I'm going to invest this money. And that was exactly what I did. And I remember the opportunity came, and I put the money in there, and it was a lot of struggle, because when you're starting anything, it's going to be a lot of struggle. At every introduction stage of anything you want to do, you have to struggle. Even with God, God already said that it's in your sweat that you eat, so you have to struggle. So anything you are starting at the beginning, you have to struggle. So there was a lot of struggle starting at the beginning, but thank God for wisdom, for knowledge, and for understanding, and for His grace that go through. Thank you. So for me, it is decision making, the decision that changed the trajectory for me was trying to do investment every time and then, every now and then, investing your money. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you all. So before we go further, please, if you have any question you want to ask, you can just or you write it in a piece of paper and give it to the ushers so they can send it down to us. Please, if you have any question, you can even just write down. If you have any question, please, that you want to ask, or if you don't want to ask, you can just write it down on a piece of paper and then send it down here and we can. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge. This is forum. I would like you to advise the youth, because if you interview people, now you say that Nigeria is hard, every youth want to pack. I would like you to advise the youth, how can we start from nowhere to somewhere? Praise the Lord.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question that what the youths, we should advise the youths that what they see is that Nigeria is bad, we are not seeing the positive side. I will try to address it, but a bit tell a little of my story. Unfortunately for somebody like me, maybe like any youth here, my mother is the only child of his father and mother. My mother is the only child of his father and mother. So I did not grow up having any uncle or any auntie to want to help me or that I'm saying doing very well. When it comes to poverty, I know poverty face to face. We know each other. I know his footsteps. I know his words. I have been talking about Nigeria in this. I have been in a situation that for years, not months, that I only had a shirt and a pants that I had to wash when I come back, spread it overnight. Won't be tight mean there's rain overnight. That means that next day, nothing. Now, I knew and seen my parents' situation that I do not have to end up this way. So it was, I'll take it from what Pastor said. That's why I was shaking my head as he was talking about relationship. Going to the university, I knew I had to work to go there myself. So I had to join those that are ushering service boys. I did that for years, all through my year 1 to 400 level in the university. In fact, at the point when we are serving in parties, by the time I got to my 300, 400 level, when they are serving, I had met 1 or 2 times some of my customers that would look at me and say, Kola Kilo Shekiba. So I retreat to washing gates. So now, the problem is that a lot of us, we look at some things as maybe belittling. Let's hold that on one hand. Then the second point, where I started from, knowing my background, my parents, there's nobody for me to run to. Nobody to help me. Even when I finish university, that I can hand over my CV to. But I see those caterers that we're working with have potential. So I tried positioning myself in a way that they will know me by my name. And I remember an opportunity came. For the youth, listen please. An opportunity came at the time when we were to, I think it was Ijesha people that had that party. And those people that would pound that down, they were not forthcoming. There was no GSM there. So the woman, the caterer, was agitated. She was worried. where is these people? Where is that? Without pounded yam, this whole thing is messed up. And then I was arranging the plate. I said, "Ma, I can pound." She looked at me and said, "You concrete. Come on, Charlie, we're talking of serious something here." After some time again, she said the same thing. I said, "Ma, try me." Then, just like David, I started reading out my CV. I said, "I'm from Ekiti State. I've been pounding yam since I was age 10. I can pound the yam very well." She said, "Okay, come and try." And I pounded the whole yam smooth. And when we finished, he asked me, said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a student." He said, "Which secondary school?" I said, "I'm in the university." That was what drew him closer to me. And you know what? When I finished my youth service, and the only person I knew that could take my CV to was that woman. And the first job I ever got was through her. You know, so my background and everything, I have positioned myself to tomorrow to see positivity. Even as we are complaining about Nigeria and all of that now, what I keep saying is positivity. In fact, sometimes I wish I can go, if I have time, maybe I can take like 15 years back. Because there are so many skills, so many opportunities around. And as I say, for you to make money, identify a problem. When you identify a problem, you solve it, money comes. So there are lots of opportunities here, you know, that one can harness. Praise the Lord.
Again, you say Nigeria is not Nigeria. Yes, it's very hard. I would just say something. When I came back from master's, one thing I was sure was I was not going to go back. Going back to Medina meant that I would sit down and somebody was going to dictate how my life was going to go. My first job in Rebecca was given to me by a friend. They asked her to come and write a test for that job. She said, "Well, I said, please give it to me. I'm in Lagos, I want it." That job, till today, till I left Rebecca, my father never liked it. It was required. But you see, most of the relationships that I have now that helped me through the years were developed from that job. It was, banking wasn't something that was going to go to. For Christ's sake, I came back, commercial and marital. In my head, the master, marital contract. That's what I was thinking. But when the reality set in, I had one option, to go back home and be tele-guided, or to just face my life like I wanted to. And I said, "No, I was looking for a job." They said, "Oh, that one bank was recruiting." And that's how I got into, wrote the test. I took all the way to Abuja to write the test from Lagos. Immediately after the test, I told them, "Don't take me to Abuja training school. Bring me back to Lagos. Let me face my life head on." Thank you.
Thank you. To respond to that question, I will say that for the youth, for the young people in this hall, we have already started on a note that is far better than where we started from. We never had the opportunity of listening to people like this. But you are here, you can hear us, you can listen to us. When I started off, I told you I had some mentors who were negative mentors. They said there was no job in Nigeria. So what is the point going to the university? But we can confidently tell you, and luckily you have people here who are mostly self-employed. They have shame of it and they have people working under them. So the first step is you must acquire the necessary knowledge. You cannot throw that away. That will position you. You acquire the necessary education. Then after the education, your education does not stop at university. Then you acquire skill. So when you acquire skill, then you identify area of need. There is always area of need. Always area of need. Anytime as a medical doctor, anytime I'm passing through a community, I'll be looking left and right and say, how many hospitals are there? Is there any hospital there? I've gone through some stretch of road, I didn't see any hospital. So even when I wanted to buy where I established my hospital, the first thing I got there, I got to that and look at, is there any hospital there? There was no hospital there. And even though I don't know that, I didn't know there was a hospital without cycle there. But the first thing they put the hospital there. When you put it there, when I put it there, I then saw people started coming. So don't be deceived that Nigeria is that. Nigeria will always be hard. Nigeria, sorry, I'm not a negative I'm not giving you negative prophecy. But there will always be people that things will be hard for, but it will never be hard for you in Jesus' name. So countries will always be hard. Even in the best of developed countries, there are people that still sleep under the bridges. Even in America, as good as that environment, you still have homeless people there. And people are still dying to leave Nigeria to go there. Somebody will leave Nigeria go there. I will never be homeless. And somebody that is born in America will still be homeless. So those things will always be there. But you prepare your mind that you want to be successful. Have proper education. After the education, get the right skill. Then there is always area of need that you need to fulfill. You have people who in the past who are roadside mechanics. They are just roadside mechanics. They do not have people who went to university. Some people did engineering, some didn't even do engineering. And he reminded me there was a day we took our car to a workshop. All these corporate engineers, I don't know what they call them. He has an engineering workshop, and my wife and one of my friends took the car there to go and repair in a mechanic workshop. And the owner of that engineering outlet where they repair car came out and looked at the car. He said, okay, you want to test the problem that is wrong with the car. A mechanic. He entered the car. He said, on the AC. He said, the AC is not working. He said, I can't test this car. A mechanic. He came out. They asked to call. He said, the car is not the type that you should test. That is level. So he has to call one of his boss. Okay, go and test the problem of this car. Because he will not test a car that does not have AC. You understand? But it's a mechanic. So as a graduate, there's a way you will do things differently from the people that have been doing it. You will do things differently from people that have read of a lawyer who what she says is a wagon. I don't know if pastor. There's a lawyer what she says and she packages it in such a way that you'll be amazed. Everybody wants to eat. We have in the past we have Mr. Biggs. That was the only eatery in the whole of the country. They have different houses. But along the line, people identify that this is not enough. They identify the need of the people. Then you have Kakalasa coming up, you have Shikwi Republic, you have a whole lot of them. And they are all making their money. And you have school. Government school, initially it was primary school was there. They were mostly public primary school. Of course, then people identify the need to have private schools. Then later private university. And all of these things, you create a niche for yourself. And then when you get there, you launch yourself into that area of need. The moment you are able to satisfy people's need, then what you go need is endless. So there is job in the fact Nigeria has the best opportunity among all the nations in the world. They have the best opportunity. I currently work with some Indians that have hospital in Maryland. The man is a seasoned spine surgeon. He had the residency training he's an Indian, had the residency training in America. After the training, became a spine surgeon, left America, went to Canada to go and work. He worked for 3 years. After 3 years, he relocated his family to Nigeria to start the hospital in Nigeria. And you are telling me there is no opportunity in Nigeria. Why will he leave US and Canada when they didn't deport him? He didn't go back to India, he came to Nigeria and then established it. And he's making some money. So there are loads of opportunity, but you need to prepare. Position yourself to be able to tap those opportunities. Thank you.
So I would have loved to hear a perspective for 1 minute on this. When I was going to start my business, my salary was 50,000 naira. To register a company, limited liability company that time cost 70,000 naira. So that means I cannot even register a company. So what I did is I called my brother. I said, see, I have these skills, I have this skill, I have this skill. I can do this, and there are needs for it. But I don't have this money. Can we partner? So he was working with the government, he had some little money too. So he brought out the money that we used to register for the business I practiced. When I was going to get my first job with me and Ben at that time, after 2 years of writing, when they gave us the job was, I think the contract was for 2.2 million naira. We need maybe about 800,000 naira to execute it. I don't have it. What I did was that I called 2 of my friends. I said, okay, they were working in the same before. So I said, I cannot pay their salary. I said, but any job that we get together, once we get it together, we share the profits together. When we got that job, they were the one, it was one of them that went to borrow money from his brother. I was not the one that used to borrow money. It was one that went to borrow money from his brother that was selling car that we used to execute that project. So I started a business without money to even register. I executed it without money. We must learn to use, there's something called other people's money, OPM, other people's time, other people's resources. We must be able to master how to use other people's resources. If you don't have it, so you don't need to have money to start. I started with 0 naira. And for my partners, when we make money, we sustain our relationship for a long time till they relocated. So the business that we did together, as long as it goes together, we share it. So I didn't have any money, they brought the money, we were running it. So I want to say that so that we can start with one thing. If you have an idea and we're ready to collaborate, one thing that we've done in Africa is collaboration. Because many people have regretted it. And simply because we didn't collaborate properly. We didn't talk well, we didn't document very well, boundaries were not clear, responsibility roles were not well defined. If you cannot lift a team by yourself, look for people that you can lift it together. Don't be greedy at first. Then you can even collaborate and say we are collaborating for 10 years or 5 years. So that when each and everyone has gotten his own money, you can establish on your own. So that helps. Then on me, I want to collaborate with what the doctor said. When I was in secondary school, I have sold cockroaches before. We know cockroaches. I have sold cockroaches before. I have sold earthworm before. I have sold crab paper. Why did I say cockroach? Biology teacher told us that we should bring cockroach and put it informally for biology practical. I know my friends that they will not bring it. We have a store in my house. The store is loaded with cockroaches. I caught them, put them in kerosene. The following day I got to school, I said, you can brother come and buy. They were doing like this. When they saw pancake in the hand of biology teacher, they were queuing to buy my cockroaches. I was sold out. The same way I was sold out on earthworm, same biology practical. So once we see need, you don't just stay there. Don't step and they say, why stay here till we die? They took a step, they made a move, and that led to their deliverance. So number one, the other things become the more the opportunities they are in. Don't you know that many people become millionaires at the time of war? When there is war, people are killing one another. Some people become trillionaires, if I can say that. So when you see that situations are hard, you know that the fact that things are happening, that husband and wife will be fighting because there is no money. What if you start a relationship coach, you become a marriage counselor, and your money is people? Things are hard, they'll be fighting now, they'll be transferring migration. And you can be there to counsel them, people will break up. You manage divorce, mediation. When there are problems, every problem is there are opportunities. It is just for you to be able to interpret that problem and see how you can provide the opportunity it brings. And you make money. I can tell you several examples. When I was going to do HDP pipe, I have never seen it done before anywhere. They didn't teach us in school. I saw the opportunity that time I was younger. Nobody alone can take risk. So I said I can do it. Like I used to do, I went to another person that can buy machine. To buy the machine cost about 2 million at that time. The man bought the machine. I went to YouTube. I watched videos of HDP impact. I watched plenty video. I went for the discussion. They asked me some questions. I answered for what I watched on YouTube. They gave us a job without mobilization. The man sponsored it. For the first 2 weeks, I was struggling on that job. But when I got it, I got it. On pressure testing and electric pipeline, that year alone, I made over 100 million. On what I never learned in school, what I never learned on the job, what I just not got, marry your guts. They say no guts, no glory. When you marry your guts, you can, especially when you are young. See, many of our daddies are here. There are little things they can take because many things are at stake. Families are at stake, many reputations are at stake. But when you are very young, when your late 20s, early 30s, if they put you in prison, you come out. Don't put in that way down to put you in prison. I'm not saying that you can take some risk and the risk will not kill you. If you fail, wake up again, do something better, go for. So there are opportunities. So when I started on studio business, I just had passion. You know, I thought that was my passion. I've never done it before. What I did is I look for someone that already had been running a studio and needed a change of job. So I watched it. He started managing my studio. What happened? He brought all the contacts from his previous studios. And he brought it to my studio. He put the edifice. So now I don't do anything in the studio. I receive alerts every day. Every day. So there are those opportunities everywhere. If you can collaborate, if you can look at it, if you can manage your boss, be bold. My boss will tell me, just be bold and courageous. You will make money in Nigeria. I tell you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, to answer the question directly, you say we should encourage youth starting from zero to something big. For me, I don't think anybody is going to start from zero. Like I have said before, provisions are already there. Most of the time, it's not money, it's not from zero. Remember the parable of the talent. All of them were given, right? One was given 5, one was given 2, one was given 1. Others multiplied theirs, while the other one covered his own. So, me, I already believe we are not starting from zero. As a youth, whoever, as an adult, if you want to start anything, for the fact that you know that you want to start, you already know starting from zero, you are starting from somewhere. Do you get it? And with the level of information out here now, nobody is starting from zero. All the information, look at my co-speaker here, said he went to YouTube. Information is everywhere. And because you have information, you are not starting from zero. You are already good to start. All you need to do is put your foot on the ground and start. All you need to do is put your foot on the ground. Just start. Just start. That's all you need. Most of the time you complain of resources. You find out that even the resources that you need to start, you are spending it. You have it, you are spending it already. Money that you are supposed to put together to start, you are spending it. And most of the time, you don't even need the resources to start. You know, most of the time, you don't need resources to start. I can remember starting my construction company. I have a witness in the house. I didn't start with money, I only start with engagement. Can I build your house? You share it. That's all. Once you agree, you begin to encourage yourself, because there's already a push in the system. And once you have a push, you will imagine the limits that you can go. Imagine if they say something is coming inside the church now, you will imagine that people will come outside of this place. Because there's already a push. So all you need is a push, all you need is to start. Resources are there. With families, with friends, with a lot of people around you, you can start, you can get resources. Because I remember starting my business, and I was sharing with a friend of mine that, do you imagine the amount I used to start business? It was 650,000 that I grew to this moment. He told me that what's 650,000? This is money that I have blown, and I'm still blowing it in today. That how would they even imagine that 650,000 will turn to something big? So most of the time, it's not about resources, it's about you starting and starting diligently. Thank you.
Really appreciate all of your answers. So this question is directed to Mrs. Nafisat directly. I deeply appreciate all speakers on this panel session, and I have a question particularly to her. After you made your decision to create your path away from what you were always known, did you ever hit a roadblock? And if you did, how did you manage not to go back on your decision?
Okay, yes, I did hit a roadblock. I remember that in that I wanted to switch to legal. When it was time to, it was a bit of a back and forth, and they said they were not going to put me in legal, they were going to retain me in private banking, so I resigned. Now, for 1 year, 4 months, I didn't work. For 1 year, 4 months, I didn't work. I was living off husband. In fact, when I was resigning, the regional manager managing private banking said, "You this stupid outside girl, you want to go home and go and spend your father and husband's money." I said, okay. It wasn't easy. After 1 year, 4 months, I looked at my dad and I told him, at this point, any job. He now said, go over to my office in Lagos and get the job. I started with a salary of 88,000 in PKF, coming from 250,000. But one thing I will tell you is, You see that salary and the job role that I picked up in PKR, that is legal and company secretary, is what I've been using to eat since then on. For a mega salary of 88,000, for banking we have been paying over 200,000. After I started at home for 1 year contract, I went back to receiving 88,000. It wasn't easy. That 1 year 4 months was me trying to get it myself. I didn't know. But I started again, and from then on, I grew through the ranks. And one of the reasons why I say that I left PKR was I wanted to tell myself, this job, this thing that I learned here, can it transcend beyond PKR? Yes, it transcended beyond PKR. I moved to Structure HQ. I was head of governance, and then from there, went to Red Money. I became head leader. It wasn't handed to me. I walked through the rules. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Okay, another question for you is not to everybody as well. We talk about investments. So the question is, what platform or what area or sector would you advise someone that wants to invest to do it correctly?
Praise God.
Yes, sir.
Nigeria is a young country. I'm sure everybody is aware because we do a lot of comparison in this country. We compare Nigeria to America, compare Nigeria to UK, compare Nigeria to Paris. We've forgotten that Nigeria is pretty young, probably less than 70 years, if I'm correct. Meanwhile, this country that you compare Nigeria to, they are over 100 years, over 300 years, over 500 years, meaning that they've grown through phases. Why am I giving you this history? Because I want to open your mind to know that all the opportunities are here. All the opportunities you can think for, they are here. In all the sectors that we have as a nation, all of them have issues, all of them have challenges, and you can put your money on them. Telecommunication, whatever it is, mention them for money. We will survive because we are still at the growing stage. We have not started anything in this country. Let me let you know that Nigeria is still crawling. Nigeria is a baby. So anything you put your money, just do it right to survive. Even if you want to sell pure water, as much as you can see people selling pure water, it is not enough. They are not meeting demand. So anywhere you invest your money, do it right. It will spin for you. That's it. Thank you.
Sorry, let me continue that to that about investment. I will say to that person, the first thing you should invest in. Don't look at first investing your money. Invest in skill acquisition. When you acquire the right skill, it is if you listen to what Pastor said, he has a skill already, and that skill did not come easy. He invested time, money to learn it. You know, I remember years back, the first time I ever drove, I was very excited that I could drive a car. My excitement was not because I could drive, but because I've acquired a skill that if push comes to shove, I can apply to be a driver, earn money, and feed my family. Now, more particularly to that question the person asked, when you acquire skill, a lot of people will work, a lot of us now, maybe young people here, we have places that we work, maybe they are fabricating iron, maybe they are doing this, they are doing that, maybe can even be trading. We make mistake of, I want to work and earn salary and go. No. I have learned that long before now, that even working in that place, I'm investing in learning that business. All the businesses I run today, they are places I have worked. I did not work there because I want to earn salary. I am observing. I am seeing how I can better that business, and do it better. I was a financial consultant for years for a company. And when I was consulting for them as a tax and statutory auditor, I was learning that business. When it comes to a time, I told the owner of that business, I said, I want to be your distributor. She said, no, you are an accountant now. Before she knew it, I went to Mushi, got some local shops there, took her there, they moved in products, and that very year, I moved to become the #1 distributor of that company, while still practicing my audit and whatever. And I still do that till tomorrow. That very business I'm talking about now, at least I have location in no less than 10 states in Nigeria. So where I'm going is that, don't first look at investing, let me put my money in maybe something, it will give me double or whatever. No. Invest in yourself. Then thereafter, you'll be able to provide solutions. And you can invest as many skills, many that you can invest in yourself, and you can translate to money because you'll be able to solve problems and challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Investments, people look at the investment as if you put money somewhere and it will yield double or triple or quadruple the interest. No. So investments, what I will tell people to do is similar to what he has just said. The first thing about investment is that where you want to invest, you must have some control over that investment before you expect return. If you don't have control over area where you want to invest, don't expect anything if you don't want to be surprised. And I'm very sure that MMM, where solution will come handy in this area. Yeah, they will promise you usually return on your investment. But if you don't have control over that investment, don't do it. You must have some measure of control. Except you just want to play around with some fun that you don't really have need for. Then you can put it in those areas. If you lose the money, fine. If you get interest, fine. But when you don't have control over a particular investment, don't put your money there. As a young graduate, I wanted to establish a diagnosis center in Ondo State. The first thing I had to go to was to go and learn how to do ultrasound scanning. I had to go there. I would close at work by 4 o'clock, and then we would drive to Akure to go and learn from somebody who is already practicing that. So because I wanted to acquire the necessary knowledge. In fact, in a book that I read, it said, before you start a business, you know 70% about that business. You want to start doing a business, you must know 70% about it. Even if you are not the one that will do it, but know 70% about the business. There was a time I was conceptualizing the idea of starting a canteen, because in the same town where I was, the best canteen we had was Mama Put. We just go down the tree, buy pounded yam and eat. And then I was in Abeokuta where I did my house job. There is this very fine eatery there. So when I got to Idori, I felt I can replicate what I saw in Abeokuta there. And I started thinking about that. So the first thing that came to my mind was to go to Abeokuta to go, and then I had the money, I had the resources to start. But I wanted to go back to Abeokuta to go and say, I can't just start, otherwise it won't fly. You should learn from, because those who have been in the business before you have already suffered some setback. You learn from their setback so that there will be a stepping stone for you to achieve with that. So the first thing is know something and everything about the business. Thank you.
Sorry, I also want to mention that, please, whatever sector you're going into, you need to understand that sector. Have a full understanding of the sector. Is it shares you want to buy? You need to understand how the stock market works. Don't just assume that people put money in the stock market and it booms back. It's not like that. You understand it. It's a gradual process. So whichever sector, and then your risk appetite, ask yourself, how much am I willing to lose? Like everyone seated here, one way or the other, we've gone into businesses that we didn't have any returns, like some of our daddies have mentioned. So your risk appetite, check it. If I put this amount of money in a business and I lose it, what is going to happen to me? So if you can understand the sectors in which you want to go into, so that you yourself you are prepared. If your ROI isn't coming up immediately, you understand that the delay is for this purpose, is for this reason too. How wide or how big is your risk appetite as a human being? Each of us seated here, we know our bandwidth when it comes to money loss. For somebody, it can just be 50,000. If I lose 50,000, I will not feel bad. So please ask yourself, what is my risk appetite as a human being? Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so one last question, please.
Thank you very much, sir. My question is directed to Pastor Harrison. Basically, this question is in aspect of tech. Now, we know that technology lowers barriers to people just entering into it and the fresh element and other things. Now, but also it shortens some competitive advantage. So, how do you build a business model that remains valuable despite rapid technological disruption? So how do you build a business model that remains valuable despite rapid technological disruption?
Business model building, right? Simple. Yeah. I just want to show understand. But to build business model, in order to build it the proper way, of course, we need some levels of learning. Or you contract it out to those that are experts in that field. Because, of course, you need to do needs assessment. There's something called needs assessment. No matter how good whatever you want to do is, if it is not needed, you will not be able to do any serious business from it. And there are tools that people use these days. You do your needs assessment, you do your market survey, you know your market share, you understand that, okay, how many people are doing this thing? If I go into this market, how many of the shares are available to me? I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say. So, those ones, if you don't have understanding of it, you can, in fact, you also need to know your maturity time. That will be involved in your business model. How long will I labor on this thing before it starts returning for me? So, I mean, for that one, I will encourage you to get, I'm not an expert in that area as well. I only have knowledge because I do business. So, I need to engage people that are vast in that area, they have their tools, then they can create a proper model. In fact, there is also a financial model. There are so many other things, so they can do it. But I cannot really answer your question. I can only refer you to those that are experts in that area.
Thank you. Let me just make an input to that. Currently in the world now, there is rapid technological changes. And except, of course, we think ahead of those changes, we may just find it difficult to cope. So the first step is to think ahead of those technological advancements. They will change. In hospital, where I practice, when we were in school, we were using a scope. There's this we call endoscopy. They put a pipe into your mouth to view your intestine and see if there are any pathology there. So the one our lecturer was using to teach us in those days, he said they stopped using it 50 years ago in Europe. So that the one they are using now, I'm talking about 95, 96. That the one they are using now, that we are using in Nigeria, they last used it 50 years ago in Europe. And so, when you think ahead that some things will change, then you'll be able to match up and surpass and be able to adapt to those changes. They are changing, especially technology is a rapidly growing area. It's not a conservative area. Engineering is not conservative at all. It's rapidly evolving. And the things you are using now, before you know it, you will not use it again. I won't be surprised in the next few years, no longer carrying microscope like this. Some people do that. They just walk around, and so you must adapt to that. You have hotels that were built in the 60s. Some of the world's best hotels were built in the 60s, and they still compete better or well with the one that were built in 2026. It's because they adapt. Along the line, they just didn't stay where they were. They continue to adapt. You have First Bank. If you come home, you have First Bank in India. You see one of the best banks. Sorry for people who are working in GTB and all that. So, but of course, First Bank, they said they are the first. Sorry, I don't have any affiliation with any bank. That is just a disclosure. So, they said they are the first and still the best. Why? It's because they adapt to changes. In fact, some banks then that were not ready to adapt to changes. I will not want to mention them so that I won't look like I'm marketing them. You enter that bank, very similar to First Bank in terms of when they started. But when you enter that bank, the people you see there are very old people. I didn't say that. So you see, those old people, they were reluctant to adapt to changes. And like that, so if you don't adapt to technological changes, you will be pushed out of business. And of recent, in terms of COVID, when there was COVID and they stopped people from meeting. And then what then you do have is that those who are prepared, you know, there's COVID, we don't want people to gather together. What did they start doing? They started buying computer, they started having internet, so that the university continue to give their lectures. You understand? Or if you just say, okay, don't worry, we have COVID now, and when COVID finishes, we will go back to our classroom. I didn't plan to do, but of course now, with that biological problem that happened, and then with technology coming to the rescue, then you see, I mean, the rest is history. Even after COVID now, most lectures that we give now is online. Most lectures, you can get your certificate without having eye-to-eye contact with your lecturer, and you get full certificate. So you should change. In next sector, the time was that when you want to do surgery, we cut incision came to Cairo. You cut from here to the navel for even to remove gallbladder. But now we have technologies. We have laparoscopic surgery. If you have a hospital and you are not moving, you are not adapting your hospital or your business to technological changes, you are going to be left behind. And I actually tell the students that teach that if you are a doctor and you are not learning the art of doing laparoscopic surgery, you are not learning the art of doing robotic surgery, you end up treating only poor people. Only poor people will come to you that they are sick. And when poor people come to you that they are sick, they start begging you for extra 10,000, 20,000. So that is what you have. So you must adapt yourself to technological innovation in order to be able to move in time.
Thank you very much.
Praise the Lord. Let me make a quick contribution to that. I think when you are building a business model, in that aspect, all you need to do is to think futuristically. Think ahead of time, knowing fully well that technology changes within a space of time. I can give you an instance. Just yesterday at the hotel, I received a call of someone calling that they have a product that can sell our menu. Can sell our menu and people can place order for menu when they have, and we can deliver. These are some of the things. You know, when you are building a business model, you should also consider that technology is changing, and you should show yourself in a way that you can easily adjust and easily blend to time. So when this call came in, I told the person, I said, talk to my manager. We are ready for it. Do you understand? I can also remember an instance where in the current system we are using, when we want to sell a product at a different price when we have an event, and want to sell at a price when we don't have an event, the system was able to accommodate it. So when you are building a business model technologically, you should also look at future. When you are building now, think about the next 5 years. Is this model that we are building, is it going to be sustainable technologically in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? This is the way to go. This is what you should be looking at. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've actually come to the end of the section. This coming, some moments. We're really good guys. Maybe talk about all right, so before we round up, I'll just give everybody one minute for your parting word. If you are going to be advising your 25-year-old you, what would you be telling the 25-year-old you? Your parting word to everyone of us. One minute for everybody. Thank you. Doctor, you can start.
Thank you very much. My parting word is things that I've mentioned. I would just more or less summarize. Acquire the necessary education, very important. You don't stop learning until we are dead. So acquire necessary education. After your education, get the best of education you can get. Then acquire skill. And then of course, I will leave you with this one, that it's never too late to start. There are many people that started their business at the age of 40. A man called in the UK called James Dixon started his engineering business at the age of 41 in 1991. And by today, that company is worth over 12 million US dollars. And he has over 14,000 people in employment. So even yours sincerely, started his own hospital after the age of 40, and today I have many employees, and of course I'm not doing badly. So it's never too late to start, and of course the best time to start is now.
My final words is I will ask you and I will implore you to pray for God's direction, because like I have said earlier, the provisions are already there, you're already rich, everything is available for you. It's only for you to tap into all these things, put your foot on the ground and start and move forward. So I can only ask you to pray for God's direction. God should open your mind, God should allow you to see opportunities, and God should help you to follow up with opportunities, and the sky will be your limit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, firstly, I would say work hard till your hard work shows you out. There's no matter, hard work never kills. Just work hard. Be at it. One day that hard work will locate you, and that hard work will be the one to, take you to where you never expected. 2, delay is not denial. I've had someone tell me that, oh, that's fact. With your many years, your price is low. Few months after she said that, I became head legal in Red Money, and she's asking me for jobs. I have to sign up for her engagement letter before she gets anything from my office. So she said it was funny, but I took it and I ran with it. Lastly, I'll say to anybody, anything that is put in your hands, do it and do it well. Look, it's very funny when I see that I'll say, tell someone do this, and the person just doesn't have that. It sits in my subconscious that you don't do stuff well, and it will not make you can't be recommended when you are not doing what you are told to do properly. So please, whatever is put in your hand, no matter how small, no matter how inconsequential, please do it well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think my parting word will be character, discipline, hard work, and relationship. Relationship with man, and more importantly, with God. One thing that I would say helped me is that I met Christ genuinely at the right time. I did not have the privilege of maybe growing up in a home where we were taught, we grew up having morning devotion and all of that. I'd already finished my youth service. So when I had my encounter, and one thing which will be like a gift, a parting gift for young people, even for the grown-ups amongst us, is that build a genuine relationship with God. God is ever talking. He will always talk to you. I was given a gift, somebody was just talking at an event like this when I just started my career, and he was talking about the book of Proverbs and how it has shaped his character. And he explained, I don't know, maybe to benefit somebody here today, which is why I'm saying it. And he said something that the book of Proverbs is in 31 chapters. So you can read one per day. You see, one problem I think we have as business owners that we have is character of staffers. I can say that. And unfortunately, I think I have no problem with Christian workers. The Muslims what are they teaching them differently? We need to work on our character and approach to tasks. So I learned them to read each chapter per day. So let's say today is 12. I must have read 1, 2, 3, and I put everything into use. And in no time, I could see that there was a change in me and in my environment at large. So a genuine relationship with God, discipline, hard work, and you are out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, for me, I'm going to say number 1, know that God is not wicked. Let that be in your mind that God is not wicked. He has not created you on this earth so that you can struggle and suffer. There must be a missing link. There must be something you are not seeing yet. But know that God is not wicked. Number 2, everything you need is already around you. Sometimes it is hidden in the people around you. So you need to just look at the people around you, the businesses around you, the problems around you, and you will find your answer there. Number 3, don't be a coward. Don't be timid, be bold. Marry your guts, marry your guts. Just try and do something. You understand? Something that you, at least you know that you have made some effort. Then number 3, don't joke with relationship. Somebody said that I have doctorate degree. It's not as strong as it's my boy who do am well. You know what I'm talking about? Someone just said that it's my boy who do am well. He's stronger than I'm a doctor of something. So don't joke with relationship. Don't joke with tennis. Don't joke with relationship. Value it, manage it. If you are getting tired of it, know how to excuse it without drama. You can stop a relationship without any serious drama because you never can tell. And finally, I would say, never say never. Anything can happen. That means plan for eventualities. You can have a high-paying job. What if, all this God forbid? What if God now did not forbid? What will happen if you lose your job? What will happen if you just plan for eventualities and trust God for everything? And it shall be well with you in Jesus' name.
So these all these green things all be on our feet.